All right, so here we are on Get the Universe Working for You. What is dark night of the soul? And what are the symptoms? How do you know if you're going through it? How do you know if you're in it right now? So let's see if we can get through again another video webinar episode of understanding what's happening to you and the planet and your soul and how you're feeling and how you can't make sense of anything. All right, so I'm going to give you some stories about people that have gone through this kind of thing. I'm going to give you some analogies on all dark night of the soul. All right, so let's get rocking and rolling. Well, dark night of the soul isn't a common occurrence. You don't go through it a lot. You know when you go through it, and it's different to like a really severe physical pain. All right, so I'll give you an analogy like this. It's like being dropped in the middle of a dark black wilderness, feeling like you're there for a week, and then you have to use all your senses to survive or to navigate, and then you see the light, and the light looks so good the day the sun rises. Well, it's sort of that analogy. Dark night of the soul, okay, so if you're a Christian or you know the story of Jesus, he goes to the Garden of Gethsemane. Not that I'm religious, but I'm just saying that story is a dark night of the soul story. It's where he goes in the Garden of Gethsemane, feels like he's taking on the sins of the world, and then he sweats drops of blood. So it's more than a physical pain, all right? All right, so let's see. I'll give you some of the signs of what is dark night of the soul. All right, you feel as if you're dying inside. You have doubt, you have depression, you feel lost, emptiness, nothingness, and a void. It's like, yeah, all right, so I'll have to read your comments in a second. So it's like instead of you feeling expansive and amazing, it is completely the opposite. You feel as if the foundation of your life you once knew or you believed has been removed. It's like everything you believed, everything you thought was true, is now in question or not true. You question the meaning of life. It actually feels meaningless. You feel it's like you're the dust on the ground. It completely reverses everything that you're here to be. You have high levels of anxiety. Your spiritual pain can also manifest into something physical, but it can feel like, now there's different symptoms depending on what dark night of the soul you go through, but you can feel like a knife is in your heart. You can feel like your heart or your soul's being crushed. You're at breaking point. You're having this internal crisis. It's like, oh my God, can't make sense. You have insomnia, discomfort, and it is something that hard to put into words, but you just feel like you're in an internal hell inside and you don't know how to get out. You don't know the answers. So that is a dark night of the soul. Now, you've heard about ayahuasca, which is plant medicine, and that is where you take, this drink, and then it speeds up, and this dark night of the soul, it will fast track this feeling, because what it does is then shows you what you need to see to change, what you need to see to become more spiritual, and it's like a hell. There's a lot of purging and all that kind of stuff, but the actual visions and feelings that you get are all different to each other, but that can be a dark night of the soul because you think, I've just gone to hell and back. For me, my ayahuasca experience was seriously uncomfortable, but I wouldn't have called it a dark night of the soul because I've been through dark night of the soul, and therefore it didn't really push me to that level because I felt like I'd done many dark night of the souls before I got to ayahuasca. All right. So, okay. So I'll give you some of my dark night of the souls that I could probably say were real dark night of souls. And that was when I was going to get engaged, or I was engaged to a hot Italian my soulmate in Italy. I was 26 and he was like my soulmate. He was my everything, and it was just amazing. I've never had that experience before. And he left the church 2 weeks before the actual wedding, and because of my beliefs, I believed the church was true, and then I had these feelings not to marry him, even though I loved him. I didn't. And then the whole month of July or August, we were supposed to have our honeymoon, and we didn't get married, and he went off somewhere and I went to Sardinia. And I remember I was on the boat. I was staying in Florence, and I remember for the holidays I went to Sardinia, and I was on the boat feeling like, I explained it like the dirt on the ground. And I remember looking at a child smile, and that meant more to me than anything on the planet. It was like something kind that was real. That was seriously digging deep into this dark night of the soul of doing something. First of all, being strong about something that I believed in back then. Of course, I'm not Mormon anymore, and I'm none of those things. However, it was all meant to, it evolved me, and it was definitely, though, a dark night of soul, because it was so severe. Now that was one. Now the biggest one I've ever had, because let me think, I think I wrote a few notes down that I did have a few dark night of souls. I think I probably had maybe 3 in my life. Now the biggest one of my life, and this was seriously soul pain, and I've talked about this, and that was when I met this man. And he was nice, but I didn't want to date him. He wasn't my type, but something triggered when he touched my hand. And when we met for the first time, and I realized later that we were very familiar with each other. It was this familiarity, but I used to say to him, because he let me be myself, I used to say, "You are the air for me to breathe." And I wasn't necessarily in love with him. I loved him, but I wasn't in love with him. It was kind of like there's something about him, and what I found out, he had part of a huge fragment of my soul. So that when I just said to him, because I didn't want to date him, I knew how it was going to end. I already knew. It wasn't my type. I mean, I liked him, nice guy, but I just knew this was not good news, and I deleted his number, and then I would just say he's out of my life, because he wouldn't call me. It was almost like, oh, when are we catching up? Because he had emotional issues. But anyway, what happened was, yes, I pushed him, because he had a part of my soul fragment, and I didn't know this, and I became like yeah, I had to be connected to him, and there were moments when I couldn't read him and we weren't connected, and I would feel like he shut down my air to breathe. So long story short, we did split, although he didn't tell me we split, because he's not a communicator. That's just the way he was, right? I just knew, and I never play desperate. Although I might feel it, I'm not going to play desperate. I wasn't going to say, oh, we got to meet up. That just wasn't my game. And so I felt like I've gone through a lot in my life. I've got a lot of trauma, a lot of undoing. But this one was ranked the top, because it took my soul and my spirit to recover. It took 3.5 years to recover after pulling back the fragment. And then a year later, I realized I had a love curse. It wasn't a spell plus a curse on me that he'd put on from past lives. So this was definitely a past life crisis, definitely a crisis. And the story is profound. And if I went into the detail of, I was like, I couldn't be alone. And then I had to have music on 24/7. My immune system was run down. I was exhausted. All things were happening to my body physically, because my body was so stressed. So anyway, I'm good now. Thanks for asking. So that would have to be my dark night of the soul, to the to a really a big degree, because I couldn't function the way I was feeling. I would have taken a gun to my head if someone had a gun. So dark night of soul is when you've gone so deep and you don't understand it, and it takes away your beliefs. So the purpose of it, and of course it happens in different ways, and it has different effects. It takes you to a different place. It changes who you are once you come out in the light. Why does it happen? Okay, one, because you aren't living your destiny, you're not living your purpose, or it helps you live your purpose if you have, depending on what your soul has to go through, whether it's just changing, whether you're not changing, it will force you to change. People have told me stories how they haven't changed and they've stayed in a certain way and they haven't done the changes they should have, and so then they got everything taken from them, and then everything was taken from them, and then they changed. It can do that. So dark night of the soul has different purposes, but the main purpose is to get you more spiritually aligned, to change your beliefs, to get you on your life purpose, and to elevate your energy. Because it's when you come out of them, you go, oh my God, I appreciate everything. I appreciate a smile. I appreciate, a baby and its smile. I appreciate an animal. I appreciate a tiny gesture of kindness. It goes to this incredible place where you're so humbled by life, and any type of kindness, it takes you out of the rat race. It takes you out of everyone wanting to buy things, and it takes you to this place of humility. So what can lead up to these things? Dark night of soul, you often can feel your body's changing. You can get muscle tremors, you can get tones in the ear, you can your nose can just run, you can get what else, jolts. Sometimes your jolts of energy go through you. I've seen people, I might be speaking or they might hear something and then their body jolts like that. So there's these shifts occurring. I've had my muscles used to just have little tremors in them, and there was a sort of like upgrade that was happening to my body. But I get tones. I get continual tones in my ear, and I remember at one point when I had this energy stopping me, I no longer had the tones. I no longer felt this connection to something else. It was like it was removed from me. So anyway, so this dark night of soul will happen more so if you don't evolve yourself when you know you should. Like if you are procrastinating, if you go, I need to change, I need to step up, but you don't. So what happens, because this is what I've seen, is when people don't do this, then their life crashes, and that can be a forced dark night of the soul. Those that do healing and those that are, spiritual, meditate, do those things that fill them, might go through one that just takes them to the next level. They might need to go through it like a detox. They might need to go through it to go deep into past lives where there's trauma and pain that's affected their soul at a deep level. Yeah? Well, dark night of soul. There's not a lot written on it. And so there's not a lot of understanding on it. So anyone that is going through it, what did you say? I'm 29 years old, 23 years later, I'm out. You're out of it. Well, I guess dark night of the soul can go on for actually a long period of time. And and it can just keep on going. But I tell you, if you don't, you have to get uncomfortable. Because if you don't get uncomfortable means I've got to do what I've got to do. I've got to protect my energy. I've got to elevate my energy. I've got to do all these. Hi, Julie. You got to do all these things that you are being guided, but you are ignoring it. Because then this builds up and gets to a point where you are forced through a dark night of the soul. Because people resist on doing these changes because they are resisting the pain that they feel inside, or they resist having to stand up and protect themselves. They resist requiring respect because that's not what they're being taught. It's very uncomfortable. So, but either way, get onto your spiritual path, because the energies of the planet also are flashing out what's inside you. So wouldn't you prefer to have control of your evolution rather than you be expunged in a way, rather than it be forced upon you? Because it ain't pretty. I've seen a lot of comments. Oh, that's good, Katerina. I've seen a lot of comments of people, how they go, I'm so lost, I want to die, I want to leave this planet. That they write into forensic healing. So take control of this dark night of the soul, because you don't know when it's going to hit you. But I tell you what, you will. You often get the signs. You'll often get feelings that you need to do certain things. Not always, but you can, and those feelings, heed them. But I tell you what you can do to make it easier: detox your body physically, meditate, just get uncomfortable. Go do the things that are uncomfortable. The uncomfortable things are resolve relationships, is face what's happened to you in your past. Meditate, get quiet, be still. Do not distract yourself. Turn your TV off. Don't talk to people. Stop talking. Women love to talk, and that is a distraction. And just get still and be on your own, and then look in. Yeah? Let me just see if I can quickly go back and see. I think there were some questions there that we had. What do we have? This is Tatiana. This is how I feel. Found out that I have a strange V kidney failure and cannot work full time, and my husband left and said he wants to have a divorce. Too much at the same time. Yeah, we'll see, too much at the same time. Well, the thing, again, it comes crashing down, because if you actually looked at your physical body, it's telling you behind chronic physical conditions is emotional pain, and you're not addressing it. You don't get, and that's now you have to change with getting real with your husband. You never really got real with him because he wasn't real. I mean, a man that leaves you at your most painful time, he's not real. And so this is what dark night of the soul forces us to get real, so we don't end up with someone that just drops us like a hot potato when things go bad, and we change things before our body collapses. So I'm very sorry about that, Tatiana, because it's like overwhelming. Well, they're the type of stories that I hear. All right? So I'm pretty sure you've got the message of what is dark night of the soul and some things that you can do to get through them. But I understand how bad it is, and you need people around you. You need a good support system to energetically support you, because you feel really alone. And I remembered how I felt, and I did feel desperate. You have no idea. I would have paid anything to get out of my desperate place that I felt. I would have done anything, paid anything, stood on my head. I mean, it was just, it was beyond. So I get it. So keep around like-minded people. You're welcome to join our Forensic Healing Facebook group. Visit us at forensichealing.com. There's lots of blog posts and so forth that may assist you in some of those processes. Or join me at a live training event at some time in the future. All right, so let's finish this little episode to try and get some stillness and some centeredness if you are going through dark night of soul, or to align yourself. You continually need to align yourself. So taking a nice deep breath in and breathing out. So allow yourself to go into your soul, into your heart. Allow yourself to go there, so that when you reach that point of being able to connect physically, emotionally, and spiritually all together, so that you become fully connected, then your dark night of souls, or your dark night of soul experience will be less, or you may not have to go through it again. But the purpose is to completely connect everything. Mind, body, and soul needs to be super connected. It's called the monad oversoul. So make sure you can see if you can go in and connect and feel who you are. Feel your expansiveness. Feel your connectedness to another person. Feel your connectedness to the planet. And taking in a deep breath of gratitude for all of those things. And then breathe out love. And remind yourself to take the breath of gratitude in and breathe out love as we transform and heal this planet together. Thank you for joining me. I'm wishing you blessings always.